Yeah. Let me drop exclusive game from my exclusive mind. You be out here chasing fame, I stay steady on my grind. Zero diamonds, zero.
Thank you for tapping into the Exclusive Minds podcast. Today we're going to be having an exclusive conversation with exclusive content from Exclusive Minds. I'm your host, Rook, and
Joe.
Let's get right into it.
Greetings. Episode 19's kicking off now.
What's up? What's going on?
Oh, not much. I actually spent the last 2 days outside doing some stuff, which is really nice because the weather's, well, at least warmth-wise, is cooperated.
It's turning around, besides the rain, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, it's shower, so I can kind of take the start and stop, but at least I get to get outside, which has been fabulous because, man, it just seems like I've been in... I hate the cold.
Bro, the weather's so bipolar. I saw the weather forecast, and it's like 70 today and tomorrow, and
and then it's like 30.
back in the 40s. So
that's crazy.
You know,
that's why everybody gets colds.
Hit or miss,
not
right?
COVID. This is why you get colds.
Yeah, we got actually a plethora of conversation to talk about today. Unlike last week, where it was kind of like two topics that we went back and forth on. Today, I feel like I have some juice. Got some stuff to talk about.
You're bringing it, huh? Because that's good. I've been slacking. I don't know what the deal is.
Your fake news sources haven't been providing anything lately, or
Honestly, I haven't really been watching much news lately. Usually, I watch it every night, right? Just because it's in the background.
Nighttime news guy.
Yeah. I'll watch the Fox primetime lineup and stuff like that, and get indoctrinated into the right side of the world. But yeah, I've been playing Dying Light every night. So.
Oh yeah. How's that been going? You finished it yet?
No, I suck.
Dude, you said it was like you were like 3/4 of the way done last week.
Yeah, well, I get stuck on like there's a couple like there's this one quest where you climbing the buildings.
Yeah, this guy's on the top of the Empire State Building.
This one you have to like you shoot this grappling hook and there's like a certain section where you actually literally have to shoot the grappling hook and then jump and then shoot the grappling hook and then jump and then shoot the grappling hook a third time around the corner of a building. I kid you not. I can't do it, right? Okay. I keep falling to my death and I'm
Noah
like...
to come in and do it. He'll finish it up.
I was thinking about it, so then I just sit there and go, that's, and that's part of the main story, so I'm sort of stuck there. Okay. So I get frustrated and I go, screw it, and I end up backtracking and doing a bunch of the side quests because there's still a bunch of stuff I skipped. So it's not like it's the end of the world. So I'm filling in a lot of the side stuff that I didn't do before. And I think you can build skill and not skill just in that, but skill in the character. Maybe it'll help. It's just I get frustrated because I don't have the
dude. When I was watching you play it, you were like so high up. I don't know if there's the right medicine. You have to take like Dramamine. Is that the right one? You'll have to take some. You have to take something for that because you were actually high up.
I was getting vertigo.
Yeah, no. So I guess in recent news, yesterday was MMA 272 with Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington. Sorry.
Yeah.
I watched up until like the main card. So we have ESPN Plus, but we have the monthly subscription where you have to pay the annual subscription for the actual pay-per-view fights, or you actually have to pay for the pay-per-view fights.
Right.
I think. So we didn't have the annual plan, and we didn't obviously buy the fight because, I mean, we're not Mikey Cabana. We're not buying for fights out here. No, so we had the monthly plan. So we got up until the main fight. We're watching the prelims early, everything, right? So we got to the end, and then it was like, you need a pay-per-view, and we're like, we thought we had it. And we didn't have it, so I ended
up... you had no idea. You were like kind of invested watching the undercard, and then it says you owe $50.
I was tired anyway, so I was like, all right, this is just a perfect excuse just to go to bed. I was like, things happen for a reason, but it was apparently a good one. I saw a bunch of responses on Twitter. One was from Jake Paul. He was like, because Colby won, for the people that don't know.
Yep.
Jorge Masvidal, was a great fighter. He said he's washed now, and he called Conor washed as well. He was like, we might as well just throw those two in the ring for a big pay-per-view.
What's really funny is they just signed him to a new contract.
Who?
Masvidal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he literally, like the week before this fight, was signed up for a new like mega contract for like another 5 fights or something like that, paying him like premium bucks. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, the timing on that might have sucked because
he needs to sell something.
He's like 12-9 or something like that. He's cool. He's a cool dude, right?
Yeah.
But
he's like lost the past couple fights though, right?
I heard. I mean, I didn't see this fight. I kind of caught the recaps.
It wasn't nothing crazy though.
It sounded like it was. Masvidal kind of got into a ground game with him and sort of choked him off. Not choked him off, but he kind of stalled this tactics.
What sold the fight was the backstory on this one, because they were former training partners and came in at the same time, right?
Yeah, really ugly.
But for someone that doesn't watch the UFC, like the early fights, I highly recommend it. Right? I think we talked last week about the guys that are in the prelims. They're like regular people, right? So they have something to fight for. Like I talked about the one dude being like a carpenter and stuff like that. So we're watching them, and dude, some of these fights are just all out bloodbaths. Like one dude got poked in the eye and his eyes twitching, and he's like, "Put me back in! Like I'm not leaving like this." Like it was crazy, crazy stuff. But like that's what they find fun. That's what you know what I'm saying. Like besides fighting all the time, they have other jobs and stuff. So they kind of have more at stake, I feel like, than like the top guys. But the top guys, obviously, who take it serious, like we obviously talk about Khabib and everything, those guys are like very crazy, unmatched, unskilled players.
Khabib is a lifer, right?
He's been doing it for life.
I mean, his dad started him when he was 2 fighting, right? So,
Grizzly Bears or something.
Yeah. So it's that's a life for him.
But I thought that was a good take by Jake Paul. Connor versus Jorge, 2 quote unquote wash players. This is not me saying this. This is
that's
a quote.
nasty.
So
nasty.
We'll see what happens there. And then there was a influencer boxing fight. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, so we don't have to spend too much time on it. You know how like the influencer boxing fights are. It's kind of like hit or miss, and apparently this one was like rigged to no end. Like,
oh god.
So FaZe Temper fought another gentleman from the United Kingdom, but apparently FaZe Temper won 4 of the 5 rounds, convincingly beat the other dude, and they gave it to the other guy for some weird reason. They were saying it came down to the refs. Everyone that's on Twitter is like,
get a rematch.
Exactly. And then
I don't even know who this guy is, by the way.
Yeah, so he's in FaZe. Okay. And then that's why. So KSI and Logan Paul, you know them too. Obviously, those are the first 2 that kind of started it. So KSI has a younger brother named Deji, and Deji is 0-2 in the boxing world. Last night he kind of turned his life around. He was never really in shape for the other 2 fights, so this time he actually took it serious, and he still lost. But people were saying that was kind of fishy, so I don't know. I think the influencer boxing stuff is kind of like more about storyline than it actually is.
Well, what's really funny is it's always boxing. Like, can't these guys find like another sport? Like,
MMA,
why don't they do golfing or figure skating or something? They're
it's
gladiators,
boxing.
Right? No. Let's beat each other's brains out.
Yeah, John, that was on the podcast. He was like, instead of going to war, we should just have 2 guys go in the ring like gladiators and take it over. I was like, no, that wouldn't be good, because the best MMA fighter is literally Russian, so they would have everything. They're like, we're the United States. We could assassinate them, get a new guy.
I don't know. There's a couple of Ukrainian guys that went back and So, it'd be an interesting thing, but sure.
No, dude.
Pick your champion, and that's how you fight and win wars.
It was sick, man. Other than that, I saw some stuff in tech news. You probably saw this. AT&T is giving anyone that trades their phone in, any phone, $800. Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yep.
So someone went on there, and they were like looking at every single one. I think it was Marquez Brownlee. He went through, and it was like iPhone 12, $800. iPhone 6, $800. And it's like, they're looking to get a long-term customer acquisition.
Well, yeah.
Right?
So if you look at the way they do it, because I just did it with Noah's phone, right? He had an iPhone 8, and I traded it in, and I got $800 towards a new phone. I ended up buying a 13 Pro and keeping that for myself, and he got my 12. But what they do is they give you $800, but they give it to you over the course of 30 months.
Okay, so it's not straight up.
So
cash.
they don't just hand you $800. They hand you a discounts. So you buy the phone monthly, right? So if the phone is
$30 monthly.
$800, right? You whatever it is, you have a $30 a month bill for the phone. Well, then they give you a $30 credit.
Okay.
But the only way you can get the full $800 is if you stick it out for the full 30 months or 30 whatever it is, 3 years. So of course, while you're doing that, right, you're paying them for the service. So it's a nice deal, but you're locking yourself into AT&T for multiple years.
I mean, we're in the brand, like we know a lot of behind the scenes. Like, I guess for a company of that size, this is a smart kind of tactic.
I mean, they have it dialed down to knowing exactly what it costs for them to acquire a new customer, right? Okay. I mean, to the penny. Like, right. A new cost for us to get a new customer, it cost us $1,500. If we can give away an $800 phone, it sounds like a lot, and and it's a really cool deal, but it's actually cheaper than going through the traditional way of advertising and paying off people's whatever like their Verizon account. And
Sure. That is true, because you also are looking for that customer for a long-term contract, because quite frankly, how often is it that you switch between providers? Like very
rarely.
You know what I mean?
Once you're in, you're usually in.
Exactly, right? Like we've been with Sprint for as long as time, and then Sprint got bought out by
I would imagine it's probably, most kids your age are probably under family plans as well, right? I mean, like, Natalie and Noah, they're on my plan. So, once you're in, you're like in that pretty much locked. Very rarely do you move.
No, dude, that's actually crazy. I saw it and I was like,
that's a great deal. Like, if you have an appetite, it's not a bad deal. Like I said, you're locking yourself in for 2 years.
Maybe we should do that. People give us their old sweaty clothes and we give them something.
All right, we'll give them $800 trade-in for clothes.
Exactly.
But you got it, over 8 years.
Yeah, right. No. So then another thing I seen in news came from the Call of Duty stuff. I know we kind of talked previously about this, but there was people. So I'll read the headline. The topic of Modern Warfare isn't something to play with. We're ready to bear the burn for what we've done in our campaign, that storyline, intends to tell. Through this, we're pleased with it and its messages. So, they're trying to go down like that dark war kind of war crime-esque theme, I'm presuming. So this is nothing new that we've seen from them.
Are they trying to be apologetic for having a war theme in the current conditions right now?
No. They were asked, like they were interviewed, and this was their statement, like this is like going to be like kind of like a dark, twisted thing. They're kind of already almost like prefacing it, like this is what's going to happen going forward. Like we're going to come up with a dark, kind of twisted storyline. So kind of like maybe like a pre-sorry, I guess you could say. They're kind of apologizing for it in advance or giving people a heads up.
Yeah.
And we've seen stuff like this before.
Come on.
But I was reading some of the comments for it, and some people, like one comment was like, with the current situation in Ukraine, and obviously we're supporting Ukraine. We made that public last time. Like we're backing them 1,000%. But they were saying with the stuff going on in Ukraine, are they not going to like take any like backlash for that? And someone was like, dude, they've been making games before.
Yeah,
like
this is nothing. It's so independent.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
The stuff with the UFC even, right? Like the top guys are Russian guys. Like they can't just kick them out, right? But no, we've seen this before. If you remember back in 2009 when they came out with MW2, they had a mission where you were literally like you played as a terrorist going through the mall and like killing a bunch of people.
Yeah, okay.
And so this isn't their first time that they had these like kind of wow.
Okay, games have always had good guys and bad guys, right? So and sometimes you had the choice, right?
Exactly, right. So this is kind of what my question is to you. What is your thoughts or stance on those people who kind of say video games make people violent, and are you one of those people, or do you kind of like?
No, it's a.
You think that's like okay? So what's your opinion on that?
I mean, look, I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know, but I've never seen it in my personal life. I've never seen video games distort someone's personality to the wrong way, right? So I don't know if I buy it.
Yeah, I mean, and it was something where Call of Duty has been doing this, like we said,
it's
for
probably
years.
All the meds that these people are on, right? In combination, right? If you look at it, it's not a video game straight raw, right? That's creating a monster. They're taking antidepressants or some other medication in conjunction with a game, then maybe but.
My whole thing was like, if you play...
We're not doctors. I don't...
Yeah.
I mean...
I think that goes without saying. But, I mean, my whole thing is like, if you play an F1 sports game, you're not an F1 driver. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, video games have been around a very long time. I've been playing video games all my life, right? And I'm 55 years old. So... And I've been around a lot of people who play video games religiously, and quite frankly, they're all normal people.
I think it's just kind of one of those things to kind of fall back on, right? Like, it's just...
everybody's looking for an excuse.
Exactly. It's the scapegoat for someone going crazy, going off the rails. Oh, well, did he play GTA when he was a kid?
Yeah.
That's it. You know, it's like, all right, well, what about like the things like you said, the person not being off the pills and everything like that?
It probably does do. I don't think it turns anybody into a crazy psychotic killer or a terrorist, but what I think it probably does is it doesn't affect your your socialization, the way you talk. I could see people picking that up. I could see kids, at the wrong ages, getting profanity and just into their language. So culturally speaking, it could have an impact.
I absolutely agree with that. I think that's
Right.
extremely like a huge point, because even the way that me and my friends communicate on a day-to-day basis, like call it nerdy, call it what you want, like we'll just like say some of the stuff like joking around, like make a reference to something that happened in a game, or something stuff like that in a day-to-day conversation.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, potentially a whole different, it's kind of like a sub language, but I could see that happening. But yeah, I mean, I don't see the direct cause. I mean, I'm sure there's all kinds of legitimate scientific studies, and they'll tell you, your dopamine levels go up or down, and but at the end of the day, it's usually, if you look at it, it's cause and effect with something else.
I mean, it's everything, right? With everything that you do, there's always going to be a response to something that you do. I think that what you said, you kind of touched on it. It does kind of make you mature earlier, I would say, because you're talking to anyone that's of your age bracket and up or below. Like, you kind of put yourself in a situation. Like, I remember gaming when I was like a kid, and then talking
you mean because of the online interaction?
Yeah, exactly, right? You're kind of maturing faster. You're learning stuff like language that you've never heard before, and people back in the day, I remember used to be like extremely toxic. Tell your brother, mother, and everyone to go F themselves.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, though. I mean, because sure, you could be around people that are more mature, and especially if you're playing something that's like a team sport where there's some very specific organization. Mm-hmm. Like Warcraft was great for that, because you form guilds and
like teams.
You had to go into these raids with 20 plus people, and everybody had to kind of be coordinated and working in the same fashion, or it didn't work, right? So there was usually a leader and sub leaders and stuff like that. So there was some discipline in that. But at the same time, I've seen I've heard Noah playing Roblox, where it's just like, how old are these people? Like, and I'm sure they're older than him. And it's like, are these people like 2 years old?
Yeah.
So it's I'm sure there's good and bad with everything.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I mean, like you said, the Warcraft stuff, like I kind of like building a team setting from a young age, and you're not even playing like a sport. You're just on the game, chilling, doing your thing. Which is dope.
Well, I mean, I guess getting back to the original thing, though, I'm glad it's not them doing a mea culpa for doing a war game. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Oh, what?
Apologizing for...
Oh, no. Dude, that's like their brand.
I know. I mean, that's why I'm sitting there going, wait a second. Are they apologizing for Call of Duty?
They always
just because Russia invaded Ukraine? I mean, come on, really?
That doesn't have anything to do with that.
Right.
I think that if you were to say, like... Because in their games before, there's always been, like, Russian characters, and... Like, even what we talked about before with the MMA, you can't, like, penalize individuals for being from a certain place because they don't have anything. Do you think Khabib is, like, like on the front lines? You know what I'm saying?
I know.
And
it's crazy. I'll tell you what, though. I don't think anybody on the planet thought that anybody was going to do anything military-wise to Russia in this whole thing, and they knew that. But holy mackerels, the blowback on everything else, like instant legit. Like, I mean, that country is getting shut down hard.
What's going on? I don't even really.
My God. So, like Visa and MasterCard shutting them. Like, you cannot use your Visa card or MasterCard in Russia anymore. Like, Apple pulled every major brand has pulled out.
They had a list. I saw it was Apple,
everybody.
Nike,
and they're confiscating all of the oligarchs' properties that are outside of the country. Yeah. So there's a laundry list of these like $100+ million yachts that have been confiscated. It's crazy,
dude. That's pretty dope. I mean,
so I mean, I know, like, Putin's probably like, these guys aren't going to do jack shit to me, right? And from a militaristic standpoint, that's probably true.
But from
holy mackerel, man, you want to talk about their economy getting shut down hard? You wait, it's going to get really bad.
Do you think
really fast?
What about the? Aren't they kind of developing something? What's that called? It starts with an S. I don't know. It's like a banking type deal, but it apparently got shut down, and they're kind of going to start relying, I feel like, more on the cryptos. And I know we talked about it.
Yeah,
so
well, I mean,
we'll
the cryptos
see.
have been going all over the place too. Like one day it's up like 10%, the next day it's down 10%. It's been ping pong back and forth. So.
I'm curious to see if that's going to have an effect on that. But no, I don't know any of the companies that are still in acquaintance with Russian governments or Russia, anything at the moment. I mean, it's absolutely nuts, dude.
It's legit hardcore shutdowns.
How do you see this playing out?
I honestly don't know. This guy, I mean, this dude's he's borderline lunatic at this point because he keeps threatening, subtly, indirectly threatening nuclear war. I'm like, oh, come on,
How
man.
can you joke around about that?
Well, I guess he's trying to keep everybody because I mean they're talking about like potentially giving Ukrainians airplanes. Poland's got a bunch of old Russian planes that they were going to give to the Ukrainians, and he's like, well, that would mean that NATO's getting involved in the war, and we'll make you pay a price you've never seen. Subtle hints.
Gotcha,
it's like,
okay.
God, come on.
Yeah,
man.
no,
So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, obviously, Russia's going to end up taking over Ukraine. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Eventually, it's going to be ugly.
you think it's going to happen?
I think eventually, I mean, it's a big country, right? It's a big country, big military. I mean, eventually they'll wear them down. And if they don't get support from the outside world, I mean, they'll run out of ammo. They're already like having problems with electricity and supply chain's going to be gone. And so eventually they'll wear them down and take it over. The thing that I don't think anybody counted on was, again, this financial reaction of all this financial and social reaction that's occurred. And so it's going to be really interesting because, man, they're going to take over Ukraine, but there's not going to be any way for them to feed their people. It's just going to get ugly.
I know. I'm very interested to see how it plays out. I saw on the news, there's like, I don't even know what you would want to call them, like independent people going over there and fighting from a bunch of different places. Like I saw a couple. Yeah, exactly. So like I'm like assuming that they have to make that very apparent. Like, hey, we don't have any association with these guys. They're just kind of going over there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because I mean I don't know how you determine a Russian from a Ukrainian, right? They're it's like other than the uniform, and if
is that going to get in the way?
Uniforms, Who knows? I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I mean, over here though, we've kind of seen a little change with their like, and it impacted us because have you been paying attention to gas prices?
Holy Christ! So Natalie just filled up her gas tank, and she said it was $4.15 at Turkey Hill.
Yesterday it was $4.19.
That's. I mean, I literally filled the Hummer up the other day, and it was
like in the threes still, right?
Yeah, it was like $3.60 something.
Yeah. So we're on the East Coast, so we're not as unfortunate as the West Coast, which is at like I think 5 something, 6 something.
Everybody repeat after me. Let's go, Brandon.
Oh God, here we go. Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon.
But yeah, I don't know. At this point, I think I'm gonna have to buy a Tesla, man.
Well, that's why if you notice, I'm driving an electric car. And,
have you took the Hummer out since?
I drive the Hummer to one end of my driveway to and back, and that's it. So yeah, no way, man. No chance in hell I'm taking that anywhere.
Oh my God. No. So before we get onto your conversation, we had recently we had a family party, and I was just like kind of sitting back.
We did? When?
Sunday, at my house.
What was that?
For Nuna's party. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, okay. Now I swear I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, okay.
I don't even know I did yesterday, let alone.
Yeah, this was early.
Holy mackerel! That's what happens when you get old. I mean, seriously, I was having a brain fart for a second. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about?
So we had a family party, and we always, kind of go back and forth with the whole conspiracy stuff. Like I was just sitting back and I was watching my Uncle Joe here and my Aunt Tracy talk about conspiracies, and we want to get her on. We absolutely want to get her on. She's going to go do like a...
you're talking about the ghost hunting thing?
Yeah.
Okay. But what's that got to do with conspiracy? God,
Yeah, so the conspiracy is like she believes fully 110% on like, ghosts, phantoms, orbs, and everything like that. And I'm sitting back and I'm looking at Joe, and Joe's just shaking his head the whole time, completely like, yo, this shit is not real at all. So I'm just curious to see how these two things come together. And then it was funny too because my friends and I were discussing.
Well, so look.
Talk about that.
Obviously, hey, more power to her. She's having fun with it.
No,
I mean, I would never put somebody down for having fun, but it's funny. Like she's talking about buying on Amazon like this electronics equipment
yeah.
to monitor spiritual activity levels and stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, but what? Like, I mean, yeah, look, I don't believe, and she knows it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, but I would never. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like she's gonna have fun doing it, right? Her and her
Yeah.
friends and videotaping it and having a blast. And there's television shows on, like she wants to get in what's her home, Discovery or Home and Garden or something where they have all these things. So I was like, hey, more power to you. I mean, I don't, it's not my thing.
I don't know what the whole like electronic thing is.
She
like,
had a name for it.
You could have like monitor the waves.
It was like
different
waves.
waves.
It was like an EKG
Type
like,
deal.
but it was like, yeah, she had, and then she was like, well, the one I bought was junk, and I'm going to get a more expensive one. I'm like, what? What is this? Like, okay, I mean,
No, so we want to get her on, man. I hope she does that soon because like I find that stuff really fascinating, even if I don't necessarily believe in it myself, just because I've never had an experience like that.
No,
so
I mean,
I can't really say like, oh, I'm 100% on board, or like you said, I'm not going to knock someone for enjoying whatever it is they enjoy, but I definitely want to get her on.
Like, dude, I mean, like, if someone said, "Oh, that house is haunted," like 3 people got killed there, and there's ghosts, I would walk in with my looking over my shoulder. But I mean, not that you know what I mean. It's like even though I don't believe it, like I think you mentally kind of get into it, especially if you're like actually in one of these buildings and stuff like that. So she's all about it. I don't know when she's going to do it, but it sounds like she's getting close because she was talking all this like
she was
gear
talking
and shit.
She was talking gear. She had some
like
numbers.
how much it costs to rent some of these facilities, and I'm like, oh,
yeah. So she's getting into it, man. I was like I said, I was talking to my friends, and one thing I cannot fathom is how we have like an Area 51, and no one like spilled any beans about it. Like, don't you find that like nuts? Like okay, if I worked at Area 51, like you have to tell your like aunt or your mom or something like, yo, by the way, did you know that there's like there's aliens or some shit?
I mean,
like I just don't understand. Area 51 I find so
here's
fascinating.
the deal, right? You when you have that kind of clearance, like top secret clearance,
You have, like,
you're
background checks?
taking polygraphs every year. Oh. So, and the repercussions are pretty severe. So
Get, like, electric chair or
are
something.
and I would imagine like at a facility like that, even after you leave, you're still obligated. And they probably
monitor you probably.
Absolutely, I'm sure they do. So I mean, it's not that I don't think anybody wants to spill. It's just that.
Someone on their deathbed had to give some news, bro.
Oh, you mean about aliens and stuff like that?
Well, I mean anything, dude. No. Like everything. Like I want to hear some juice that like.
No,
I find it very fascinating.
They test planes and stuff like that. I don't. There's no aliens.
No, dude. There's got to be something behind closed doors, man. There's got to be like, I don't know.
In this day and age, if there were aliens, we'd know about it because they're like this war with the Ukraine, right? Everybody's getting to see this live and in person in 4K, for God's sake.
Right? Elon Musk sent us Starlink.
Yes, he's opened up Starlink over there and stuff like that. But I mean, they were talking about that too because they said the first kind of like true multimedia war was the Gulf War, the first and second Gulf Wars, and back then, right, they were you could see videos of missile strikes and stuff like that, and it was kind of fuzzy and stuff like that, or the nighttime, and he goes. Because now, man, everybody's got a 4K phone. I mean, the videos that are coming out of the Ukraine are crazy.
Dude, I am 1,000% on board with this. The Ghost, the pilot dude, bro. Like, I'll see pilot videos. This guy's blowing stuff up out of the sky. But back to what you're saying.
It's
like
missiles from guys on the ground. They have a bunch of those videos, though, of them shooting down Russian jets and helicopters. I'm like, whoa.
It is in 4K, though. You have a good point with that. When was the Gulf Wars? There was like 2008?
When was that? Like the...
Or before?
90s, I guess. I'm trying to remember.
Really?
Jeez, now I don't even remember. God.
Yeah, but anyway,
the first
I see what
was,
you're saying.
The first one was in the 90s.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested with that stuff. I think there is something.
But I mean, if there was aliens, we would know.
Maybe not like aliens. Like you're thinking like green, gray guys, like with like big heads. Like I'm thinking like just something.
Mr. Spock.
Yeah, I don't know, something different. Or the Illuminati. Like, how about that? Are you not interested in the Illuminati? Some like, ever see the movie Hostel?
No, that's a horror movie, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a horror movie. It's like a bunch of like, spoilers. This came out in like the 2000s, so whatever. It's a bunch of like rich guys or girls, whatever. Like we're talking like 0.5% of the world, and they come together and they abduct people that stay in hostels, and then they make them like fight or get executed and do all these crazy stuff. I'm like, dude, this could be real. Like, how do we know that this isn't real, man? Like, this could be some real stuff. Like, we need to figure something out.
You can't get away with anything anymore. You just can't. I mean, that's the thing.
So you're saying if it's out, it would be out?
Christ, in 30 seconds, or how long does it take you to get on Instagram Live or Facebook Live, right? If you're kidnapped or you're, I don't know. It's impossible. It's impossible to hide anything anymore. It really is. I mean, you just have to walk out your door assuming that you're under the microscope and someone's taking a videotape of you.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I think there's something out there. But what's your week consisted of this week? You said you had a conversation of something that happened, or
no. I just was. I was listening to a podcast with this Kodiak Black guy, and
Kodiak.
I didn't know who he was. Again, this is that generational thing, right? I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And I'm like, is this the modern day Snoop Dogg? I mean, I could not. I was in the car with Noah, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy saying?
Was he talking or was he rapping?
He was talking.
Okay.
And I tell you, as God is my witness, I don't know what the hell he was saying.
Okay. So Kodiak Black is a Florida rapper. I used to have a bunch of what's it called? People from Florida when I used to live in Alvernia. Like, they all came up from Florida. We had it was like our first time having a football team, so there was a bunch of scouting. Anyway, I ended up being on the floor with the football players, and they all came from Florida, but they all listen to Kodiak Black. Like, he's like I guess like our version of like Meek Mill, because he's from Philadelphia. So like so it's kind of like right. He has like the weight of Florida on.
So is he blown up nationally then, or
yeah, he's huge. He's
I
don't know who to compare him with. I would say he would be bigger. He just had an incident with some people, and he got shot recently. So okay. I mean, he does still kind of like I guess.
Get it. He has a rap sheet that must be a mile long, because I think he's spent some time in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know who to necessarily compare him to.
Someone said Trump pardoned the guy or something.
Yes, you should have known that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, so he got pardoned by Trump. He spent 2 years in prison, and then he gave Kodak like a Trump hat and everything like that. So he said, he's like locked in now with Trump for whatever.
Yeah, well, I only knew that because he was like, he actually said, "Oh, getting rid of Trump was the worst thing ever," and stuff like that. So
no, he's a dope rapper. I like a lot of his music. It's like very specific. It's like club.
But is he like a major stoner dude? I mean, I'm assuming something was going on with his speech, and because it sounded like he was he sounds like he's constantly high, right? I'm like, is this the new Snoop Dogg?
I think that's just a slang, man. He's a dope. I like
that is. Yeah. Intense though.
Yeah, no. Like the new, I won't even know who to say. Like the new stoner would be like Wiz Khalifa, I guess.
No, he's been around for a while though.
So he's like the new, like I guess like that. I don't know. A bunch of people smoke now. That's all I could say.
Yeah, well, it's legal everywhere, so I guess it's not a bad thing anymore, right?
Yeah. So are people getting out of jail for like the charges with?
I have no idea.
Marijuana? You have no idea. Damn, dude. No.
I mean, honestly, does anybody get arrested for anything anymore? I mean,
yeah, I would hope so.
You beat somebody with a hammer in a subway, and they let you out 10 minutes later, right?
Is this true?
This world's effed up when it comes to this shit. So
I'm like on edge now constantly because Taylor has me watching these documentaries, dude. And did you know that people are like, okay, this is gonna sound extremely dumb just because of everything. But there's like squatters that stay in people's homes for like months upon years. Are you familiar with this? Everywhere. Like apparently people could finesse the system and stay in someone's apartment for like 2+ years.
Well, yeah. So what happened?
Okay.
I don't think it's so. It's people who had rent, right? They were renting an apartment, and then New York changed the rules because of COVID. I think it's New York, right? They changed the rules for COVID that you couldn't, because people were losing their jobs, you couldn't kick them out if they couldn't make rent.
So listen, right? There's one in Philadelphia, this whole Netflix documentary.
It's these rich people that just stopped paying rent.
Well, okay, that's a different instance, but this instance is, so this guy will meet up, like I'll be like, hey, like, do you need They post it on Craigslist, and he messages them on Craigslist, and they get on the phone. Do you want to meet up? I'd like to be your roommate. He comes up. He appears as like a normal guy, and then as they're talking, he's like, hey, I have cash in hand, and I'm ready to move in with you. And they're like, yeah, sure, just sign the papers. He's like, all right, I'll sign it, and I'll bring my stuff over tonight. They're like, sure. and he'll come over, but he never signs the document, and he'll move in with the people, and then he'll live in their room, steal a bunch of their stuff, has like a dog that he stole or a cat or something like that he stole from these people, and then he'll get a restraining order against the people that are in the house.
That's the world we live in.
And then he'll force them to live out, and they're still paying rent. And I'm like, dude, how could this be a thing still? I never heard about the New York thing, about the COVID stuff.
Yeah, there was one story where this guy, I want to say he was a lawyer, but I mean,
that's the guy.
It was a guy with money.
That's the guy.
Well,
he's a lawyer.
He knew how to milk the system.
Yes.
So, like, literally, he just stopped paying rent, and they weren't able to evict him. Like, so the landowners, footing the bill for thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And
this is the exact
this guy just, and he has money, right? Someone said he bought a boat, and
maybe not.
There's a whole story. Like, the guy's got the money, and he just because of the rules. He knew that he couldn't be kicked out, so he just stopped paying rent.
And apparently, these people know the system better than the system itself. Like they could the one guy is also a lawyer who I talked about. It's a great documentary.
Oh, common theme here.
Yeah. And he I forget what it's called. My worst roommate or the worst roommate, and he is a lawyer, knows the system better than everyone. So just as they got into an altercation where he like punched the girl or she slapped him because he got in her face, and that was like all it needed. So she called 911, he called 911. I think his got there like a second earlier than hers, and he, like I said, called got a restraining order and everything like that. But I don't know, like I don't know. For one, I don't know if I could have a roommate that I don't know straight up. I'm gonna be honest. Like that's kind of strange. Like I did it in college. Like I don't think I could do it again. Like shout out to both my roommates, Jordan and Dan, both phenomenal people. But like in the real world, no, absolutely not. I'm not doing that, bro. Absolutely not. I'd rather live in a box or something, bro. Like that shit's craziness.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, I don't know.
No, but other than that, what happened this week? Today we went to Drexel. And I got flashbacks, man. My brother's looking at colleges. I don't want to go back to doing 4 years again. Yeah. Imagine doing that shit again, dude. That's painful business. They're like, oh, yeah, we have 81% of people that as soon as they graduate has a job. I'm like, dude, 81% immediately after they graduate?
Well, I mean, it's an engineering school, so I'm not surprised.
No, they have something where they have a program where it's 5 years instead of 4 years or something.
Well, yeah, because Drexel's always been awesome, right? Yeah, they do the co-op thing. So you come out of that, university with your degree, working. But you've got a lot of experience because I think it's every summer that you put in, like, it's 6 months of school and 6 months of working.
Yeah. It's like, so when you do the 6 months of working, they give you a free class, whatever that means. So I don't know
Credits
if it is free. Yeah, exactly. So it sounded pretty cool. I know some people that went there, and I know some people that liked it, didn't like it. So it's all personal preference. But talk about like a diamond in the rough, right? Like that place.
It's not a diamond in the rough. It's pretty well known, actually, on the engineering front.
But I'm saying like a diamond in the rough, meaning the area that it's surrounded around. Like you're talking, I guess the same with Temple too. Like Temple's a good school for the most part, and it's in, like, the worst part.
I mean, Drexel and the University of Pennsylvania have always been like that. So, they've been kind of expanding out. I mean, if you're in the heart of the campus, you're probably fine. But if you stray a couple blocks in the wrong direction, you're in bad news. But
have you ever had any bad experiences at like school, like Temple
or anything like that? Yeah, I mean, so I mean, when I went to Temple, I took the subway, and I've had some interesting encounters. But yeah,
the subway.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah, we actually have a little bit of news with the clothing stuff. Do you want to briefly touch on that, or should we kind of wait?
Yeah, two things, right? You got this collab thing that's coming to fruition, and then I think that we have finally sort of made some decisions on what we'll call our next generation, or our 2.0 hoodie clothes coming. Let's go with all the vernacular.
So
I mean, I think it's going to be cool. I mean, we've obviously had a supplier for a while, and the material is
average, right?
Look, I don't want to put it down because we've been selling it and people have been buying it, so thank you all. But it's nothing exceptional, right?
I mean, it's to kind of piggyback off what you just said, like. What we've had is definitely a step up from what the average person could get, you know what I mean? But it's not like extraordinary. We're not, Yeezy making, these crazy blanks or anything crazy like that.
Yeah.
So like what you were saying, like this new stuff, how do you feel about it personally?
I think it's really nice. And plus we will be able to do, a little bit, we'll modernize, right? So, I mean, we've always had drawstrings, and now we can actually get drawstringless hoodies, which I think is kind of the in thing right now. So I think we'll probably do those.
They have like sweatpants, track pants,
matching everything. So, and really, really nice material. I think it's all organic cotton. So that's kind of nice, right? We're being green.
Yeah. And it's USA based as well.
Yeah.
Like a thing.
Yeah, they're very proud of that fact, right?
Yeah.
They pay
15.
They pay a pretty nice wage, right, in Los Angeles of all places. So I mean, I think it's going to be nice. I mean, we're a little bit delayed, I think, getting it because of some supply chain and availability. But once that clears, we'll have our next drop, hopefully soon. But this should take it to the next level, and prices will go up a little bit. But hopefully, we can still kind of rein that in and keep it level. Not too crazy.
Absolutely. I mean, and I know we talked previously. I don't know if it was on air or off air, just about being like USA based, and like I actually kind of like over time, I know we had this like back and forth with it, and I'm actually very proud to say that, just because
I mean, it's not I mean, we could sit there and go, you're only doing that because of all the world shit that's going on. That's not true. We actually have been
looking everywhere.
I mean, we checked out the whole
China, Pakistan,
and it just
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean,
when you have someone that's doing something at a high enough level, and we could be paying, so they're both relatively in the same price points, I would say. Just one is you're paying more for it to be, I mean, here, obviously. The other one's cheaper material-wise, or material cost-wise, but you're paying basically that same price in shipping.
I mean, I think what it is, for if you're moving like tens and hundreds of thousands of units,
it'd be worth it, right?
You almost have to, right? But for a smaller player like us, it's so much easier and so much better to kind of keep it in the U.S. just from a communication standpoint, and just how long it takes to do things. Because for us, we're trying to be nimble, right? We don't want to,
sit on stuff, right?
I mean, they were telling us best hope with 3 weeks to get something shipped from
and
overseas,
how about the shipping price that I showed you? It was
I mean, the shipping 100 rates is crazy too, and right now it's just
for what we're getting, like the same stuff but overseas version. It was for 100 hoodies, I believe, customized and everything, and I think they were like 16 ounces, which is a relatively decent heavyweight hoodie. It was $1,100 to get it just shipping costs. So. Yep. Right there alone, you're paying $11 per off that, on top of everything.
Shipping
like Joe said, you just got to order a bulk amount, and that's probably the smart play. But for us, everything so far that we have kind of set up, it matches everything that we want to do, and it's extremely beneficial because you said it's organic or reused or something. I don't know, but that's pretty dope. And we were also kind of going back and forth with even getting our own what's that called? Embroidery machine?
We talked about doing that too.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick, man. I mean, we could probably get something going, like a small embroidery machine. Like they had ones that you were saying are like thousands upon thousands of dollars.
All the embroidery places, but I don't. I mean, it'd be good for prototyping and just kind of doing small runs just to make sure it looks good. I don't know if any of us want to sit in a room and embroider
on each one,
because you still have to. I mean, you have to set it all up and stuff. And
I mean, it would be cool. Like even if just like a small thing on the what's that called? The
it's
cuff
just
or something.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, cool. It's just probably easier to have someone do it. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. So I mean, yes, we. I mean, I know we've been talking and unfortunately, we still are not quite there. But I think we've at least
huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, we know what we're doing, and we know the clothing, and it's just now a matter of bringing it in and
sampling and everything.
getting some prints run, and hopefully that'll be really, really soon.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about the collab too, right?
Yeah.
You got that dropping. So.
Yeah, so two of my good friends, they are local artists in the area. They reached out to me, and I was kind of hesitant at first. I didn't really tell Joe about it until it was like kind of set that this was going to happen, because our previous experience with collabs were like
was not good.
No, not good, right? So we're like, I kind of was, as we are on the podcast, very transparent, and they're good people, and they're like, listen, we don't even want you guys to do some of the stuff that the other people made you do. So they just kind of were like, yeah, we'll front the first initial up and then split it. So
yeah,
it was a good deal, man. I mean, shout out to them. Shout out to Locke and Corey, because they're making it possible. So shout out to them.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I'm trying to think what else.
I kind of like the design. I mean, it's people will see it. So
yeah, no, it's like I don't even know what to compare it to. It's like kind of like louder, I guess, compared to other stuff. I guess a lot more stuff going on. I'm trying to think what else. I feel like there was like something else that I wanted to talk about with the clothes. I mean, that's what I want to talk about. Like, the biggest problem and the biggest thing that I've noticed with companies is like sampling. I feel like that's like a huge deal, and like I feel like we waste a lot of like resources just trying to sample the clothes and make sure it's the right thing. Do you also
I mean, you have to do it. So I mean,
you do have to do it. It's one of those things where it's like you have to try it before you, I guess, buy it.
Right.
But I think.
But I mean, in theory, right? Once you find what you like, you're dialed in, and then you don't have to do it anymore. You pretty much know.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So hopefully we're there. I mean, we have to. Yeah. I mean, we're still going through the process here with this, but I think it's should be pretty much hopefully set in stone, and we can move forward with this and lock it in.
Pull the trigger. And
this will definitely elevate and kind of make it a little bit more of a premium product, which is where we've always kind of wanted to be. Premium in the sense that a little more expensive than we've been charging, but not Gucci expensive. So not that premium. So.
No. I mean,
it's not being made in Italy, so
that's the main thing. Like you starting a brand. I mean, like Joe always talks about, we're just a drop. What's it called? Drop in the bucket. Like you have to differentiate yourself. So if you're having good materials, you're having good, marketing, good people behind it. You have to almost kind of also match that with the pricing. You don't want to make it like unobtainable by everyone. Like putting off the gate, I see some companies, they're putting out t-shirts that are $60, $70 or whatever the case is. I just couldn't imagine doing that off the start.
Yeah, I mean it's tough.
Yeah, because like I get it, you want to be kind of,
I mean, there's two ways to approach it, right? You sell cheap and hope you get it all out there, or you go expensive and you have a very fine thing, and you have to still try and build your rep over time. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how
we're kind of taking a middle ground, I guess.
I was gonna say we kind of have a good middle ground, splitting it right down the middle. What are we at?
46 minutes.
Oh, that was good. That went by quick.
Yeah, still got a couple minutes. If you got anything else on your list?
No, I think that was it. Yeah, no, that was everything, man. I had a lot to talk about today. I feel like. I don't know. No business trips with you? No traveling? I
am going to Ohio this week, so I'll be in Columbus and Cleveland.
So what's there to do in Ohio? Like, tell me that.
So I will. I mean, just to kind of give you the day in the life of me, right? I'll hop on a plane. When am I flying? I'm flying Wednesday. I'll land in Columbus in the afternoon. I will have dinner with a partner.
Business partner?
Yes. And then the following day, we are doing another partner event at Top Golf, which is, I don't know if you've seen.
Yeah, Top Golf.
Kind of like it's like a driving range on steroids. I'll do a lunch Top Golf thing, and then we'll drive over to Chagrin Falls, which is a suburb of Cleveland, and have dinner with a partner. So it's pretty much an eat fest.
And you get to work.
It's a tough job. I mean, you, trust me, you'll never hear me complain about my day-to-day job. It's not too bad, right?
Why does all business go down on the golf course? Why is that? Is that just
because nobody plays golf anymore? Are you kidding me? Oh. Nobody has 5 hours to invest in their life anymore.
Is that how long it takes to
round the golf? Like a legit round the golf would probably take 4 to 5 hours.
Damn.
Maybe 4 or 5 hours. Damn. Easily.
I never understood that. I guess it makes sense, like a slower pace game. You get
so I mean that's a special thing. I mean it used to be like, I remember I'm trying to think, it was probably I guess the 2000s, early 2000s, God, I was playing golf 3 days a week.
Really?
Because that's absolutely that's how everything got done, right? You had business meetings on the course.
Jeez.
But nobody
does it anymore.
The world has changed, and nobody wants to invest 5 hours of their day playing golf.
That. We should do like paintball or something.
Yeah,
like a team building.
Well,
or like football
if you look at it, that's why all these little these things are all popping up, like the skydiving building, iFly or something like that, or this Topgolf is something you can go and play for an hour or two, and then you get the hell out. So there's all these little things that are kind of popping up. Or I know Topgolf's doing. They have video simulators, so like you can sit there and go, I want to go play Pebble Beach, and instead of having to spend $1,200 for 4 people to play Pebble Beach, you just whatever it is, $50, and you smack a ball into a video screen.
To a screen, dude. That's nuts. I never understood that. I was always curious.
Golf. There's still people that play golf, and don't get me wrong, it happens, but it's not like it used to be because it's just way too time consuming.
Yeah, dude. No, shout out to who's that guy that's really good at golf? Tiger Woods.
Yeah,
the best golfer or something like that.
Well,
something like that.
I don't know.
Close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never got into golf.
This is kind of the Jordan and what's his face? I can't even say his name. LeBron, right?
The greatest basketball player of all time, LeBron.
No, Jordan. And then Tiger Woods is unfortunately he's probably not the best golfer of all time because I don't think he's going to surpass Jack Nicklaus. So is
he an older guy?
Jack Nicklaus? You don't know who Jack Nicklaus is? Oh boy,
dude, I don't even know golf.
Boy. I won't even go to Arnold Palmer then. So
Arnold Palmer, isn't that a drink?
Yeah, it's a drink. As soon as I said it, I was like, "Oh, this dumbass is going to say, isn't that the iced tea and lemonade?"
Yeah, what the hell?
Holy Christ,
dude!
That's the guy. He invented the Arnold Palmer.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my God, though.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap on that note.
That's good.
I don't want to embarrass myself anymore. I hope you guys liked episode
19.
So we have to have a crazy guest on every 10, right? I mean, we had Baskin on for 10.
Yeah, I don't know who we could. Yeah, we're still a small time podcast. That was fun though.
Yeah. Well, we have to get another interview going. We still have to do my friend with the app. I never called him.
Yeah,
never called him back. I mean, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our talk about video games.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, what's going on with the world. Hope you have a great rest of your day. It's been David.
Joe, and we will be back with episode 20 before you know it.
Sweet.
Peace out. Later.
Yeah. Let me drop exclusive game from my exclusive mind. You be out here chasing fame, I stay steady on my grind. 0 diamonds, 0 chains, from my brain is where I shine. Hit you with them good lyrics, I ain't writing and I'm dying. And right now I'm alive, so check it. I reckon I shouldn't cuss on this record. I don't cuss on them often because I'm applying pressure. Grab that fire grind. 0 diamonds, 0 chains, from my brain is where I shine. Hit you with them good lyrics, I ain't writing and I'm dying. And right now I'm alive, so check it. I reckon I shouldn't cuss on this record. I don't cuss on them often because I'm applying pressure. Grab that fire from my dresser. EXM, who does it better? No, I won't let up. Gas pedal fully pressed, I do the dash to the checks. If it ain't assets, I'm never stressed. I keep it calm and collect. Most of y'all stuck in some debt, and you got bad credit. I learned my lesson, I was young and foolish, now I'm better. I kept my head up through the stormiest weather. Wipe my eyes and focused on where I'm headed. We call that constant progression. If we in Vegas and the option is betting on me, you know we cashing out to the teller. Now let me switch my endeavor, change up my whole approach. Let's have a toast to those who do the most. Achieving goals on the road to their dreams, on the path to the cream, counting stacks with their team, living lavishly, but still actively aware that they can be a casualty, so they don't lack humility and they don't dabble with the greed. Yes, they focused on the plan ahead. They know impact will lead to bread, and the bread equals success and less threats. Got some things to accomplish. When someone hits my line, it's not about some nonsense. We making moves, always grinding, we popping. You know we not gonna stop, and never no option but time, and the perfect time is right now. Not caught up in tomorrow. I'm all about making a conscious decision while I'm living. Make a choice, then I'm committed to that vision. I pivot if necessary. It's scary when you get caught in a position that isn't hitting you down bad because your persistence in the wrong direction. Just learn your lesson, you gotta check it. Audit you and keep on getting better. That's the motive, that's the method. And I'm headed further than I ever thought I could make it. I wouldn't stop unless my pulse flat lines like the doctor lost his patience.